Betting against Tyler Guyton after just one season, I'm saying us as a collective, okay? Knowing what we know about his career journey is, and will continue to be foolish. But with Tyler Guyton's case, he had infinitely more obstacles stacked against him, right? His learning curve was always going to be greater than that of the average prospect making his transition into the league. It hasn't even been 6 years since this kid was a full-time basketball player. It hasn't even been 3.5 years since this kid was a full-time offensive lineman. He was playing some tight end, some O-line, some defensive tackle. And then it hasn't even been 1 full year since he's been playing left tackle full-time. That, all on top of the coaching staff responsible for bringing him along, experience standpoint, uber athletic, all the traits, with the one that we can't measure, right? The mental side. We're going to touch on that in a second too. A coaching staff on an expiring contract, fighting for their coaching lives with no time, patience, or even want to hold the hand and bring along and babysit a guy like Tyler Guyton. The offensive line guru himself, Duke Manyweather, Big Duke, seemed to indicate or hint at a few weeks ago about Tyler Guyton's willingness or want to become a better player. His work ethic, how much does he want it? How much does he love it? As we know, a huge pillar for what the Schottenheimer regime is focusing on. It's fair to question or to speculate anything that Duke says. And what he says should carry a ton of weight. But there's two sides to every coin, right? We gotta dig a little bit deeper to make sure that we're seeing the bigger picture here.
I don't want to say any bad things about Nate Thomas. You should love him. You should love the fact that this bottom barrel day 3 draft pick is looking the way that he looks today. Has the respect of the coaching staff in the front office that he has today. Can come out here and do things that he did in a few different instances in this ball game and not be a glaring red flag. Okay? But I also want to caution fans against just being so quick to replace Tyler Guyton just because of the stigma that he carries today, because of what transpired in year 1 when the expectations to replace a first ballot Hall of Famer, Ring of Honor member Tyron Smith, despite being 5 years into the sport and only 2 full years into the position, but neither of which the left tackle spot. Okay, remember, Tyler Guyton flipped. He's learning a brand new position. He's learning a brand new sport. He's becoming a pro. He's had to rebuild his body and start to take things seriously. The little things, okay? Tyler Guyton also missed the most important developmental phase of his career, which of most young players' careers, which is the year 2 offseason, training camp, the live practice reps. And he still looked so much better this year than he did last year. All right. What I am going to do is show you why Nate Thomas is in a similar phase of development as Tyler Guyton. Right? He's an imperfect player, an imperfect but rapidly ascending young player, much like Tyler Guyton. Okay. We're also not going to sit here and say that Nate Thomas, he's not replacing Tyler Guyton at left tackle. Let's just be clear about that. Okay. But he's also going to have trouble replacing this guy right here. He's got a better chance to replace this guy because we know who this guy is. But people also don't recognize, they fail to mention when they just want to see something new, Mr. Shiny New Toy, right? Yeah, maybe Terence Steele isn't exactly the ideal anchor in pass protection, right? Sometimes people can run right down his face, right down Broadway, walking back a little bit. But what not enough people talk about our friend here, Mr. Terence Steele, is what he does in the run game, which if you haven't noticed by now, about dang time you help your quarterback out, right? I understand. Let's not crown Dak king, right? Let's piss in people's Cheerios When you got a guy playing like at an MVP level just because he hasn't done it yet, in the same exact conversation with Tyler Guyton, haven't done it yet don't mean won't do it in the future. Okay, two of those two things are mutually exclusive. Past versus future. Okay, you talk about that in the postseason, but you don't talk about the 3.2 yards per carry that accompanied it. Well, guess what? Now, run game, power and pad level, nuance and misdirection up front, that's here now. It's no wonder you see Dak having the playing with the most confidence, seemingly having the most fun, but being once again leading a number one offense. Okay? And a big part of that is this guy over here. Yes, pass pro, maybe less than ideal. But guess what? This guy's got his shortcomings too. As does Tyler Guyton. Why can't we just enjoy and appreciate that when undrafted free agent Brock Hoffman has to come in, we don't skip a beat. Undrafted free agent TJ Bass has to come in, we don't skip a beat. Undrafted free agent right tackle Terence Steele is now a second contract earner. And he's been a part of multiple top overall offenses. Okay? He has his imperfections. That's why he wasn't drafted. Imagine that. Okay? But then this guy can come in and spell another rapidly ascending young. Do you guys realize that there's an epidemic of talent at the offensive line positions? And the Cowboys have 5 guys that nobody wanted, either in the draft or in free agency. And guess what? It don't matter. Because of that guy, because of power and pad level, because of misdirection, and just a power run game with run and pass game marriage, right? A nuanced approach. I'm going to stop talking now, and I'm going to just show you a couple examples of why just assuming, just because you want the shiny new toy can be fool's gold. Be excited about that guy, but don't dismiss the other one that he's playing in place of right now, okay? Sure, ask for more in pass pro, but don't just say let's cut him just because we want to see shiny new toy. Because this guy over here, Mr. Run Block himself, he's got a little something for you. If we just turn the tape on or listen to people who do turn the tape on and objectively analyze reality. These guys deserve the truth, as do you, the fan. And that's what we always attempt to give you here. This is a passionate debate or a take right now for me, because I just see so many people jump to conclusions before doing the work. I try to do the work because I want to be the most informed I can possibly be so that I can creatively convey the truth to you. So if you've learned anything today, then please do me a favor, help with the continued growth of this platform. We're trying to get to 10K before season's end, and I think that we can do that. Most people who still view this channel are not subscribed, so I need your help. All you gotta do is hit one button for me. Assuming that you do subscribe when you hear that, just hit the like button. That's how we continue to grow. All right, get your questions in for Friday's show. We'll do a live Q&A, and then we'll have further updates along the way. But hope that you appreciate the rest of this video here. Now this one here, this is a tough task to begin with. That guy right there is Quinnen Williams, okay? You see the positioning, the alignment. Terence Steele's job is to get all the way across, cross face, and wall him off. Okay, he does a pretty dang good job, all things considered, but just watch him stop Quinnen's momentum before he gets a little bit of help from this backside pull and Hakeem Adeniji. Full extension, two bear paws. Knocking Quinnen back, once again, with the assistance, just a hair, but he was in the right position to allow Hakeem Adeniji to help him in that regard. A little extra momentum, a little boost from old buddy from the backside. Javonte finds the crease, and a little crease is all he needs. Mr. Power and pad level. Well done, Terrence. Ensuing play. Very next play. Ensuing play. Quinnen Williams, right? Cross face. And watch him actually move him backwards just a little bit. That's a tough ask, but he does it because Terrence plays well when he's moving forward and not asked to backpedal. Look at the angle of his body, the athleticism, right? That's a 45. But then watch him get his feet in position. And then it's just enough from TJ Bass to kind of redirect the momentum just a hair by Terrence, that little bit, that little tick for him to get those feet set, those feet reset. But then watch. Boom. There. That's it. Now he's walled off. All Terrence has to do now is just keep driving those feet. And watch what he does. Drive. Javonte just maybe misses the cut, like, I don't know, maybe if he shoots that way, sure. Then that's sort of the design because that's where the leverage is, right? Terrence has the inside leverage. But nobody's mad at Javonte. I'm just, we're just talking. But he's in position. It's a really tough ask against a really good player, Look at that. That hip drive, that's full extension. And then just keep the feet moving. Watch. The line of scrimmage is right here. Whatever hash that's on, the 27. Quinnen ends up at least a yard behind that. Let's just give credit where it's due sometimes, and not speak in once again generalities, like somebody in my mentions accused me of. This one here's rather quick. Poor number 44, man. He was in a blender all night. Dude was just and1 mixtape city. But watch Terrence, to be able to be athletic enough to climb to the second level, stay in position, shuffle, good athletic base, knee bend, and then just dog walking people, Yeah, it's a linebacker. Yeah, he should move him. But linebackers are hard to get fully squared up on because usually they're pretty good at dodge, duck, dipping, driving, and dodging and ducking. You know what I mean? Slipping. But Terrence, full basketball triple threat base right there. Hands, lock on, and drive. You're out of here, brother. Sorry. Jadon Blue's got all this space to work with. I mean, this guy makes a nice tackle coming into the picture from out of the frame. But if we wall off that first level a little bit better, Terrence did his job, right? Look at Luke Schoonmaker too, by the way. Like that's an aggressive position right there. And Big Nate Thomas getting busy too. We're gonna talk about him in a second. But look at Luke. Maybe he's a little bit over his toes, just a tad, right? Not quite on balance, but at least he's trying. At least the pad level and the effort is there. You can work with that. He whiffs. But he got off the ball there, man. And he redirects that player. He's out of position too. But just watch Terrence. Drive. We're out of here, buddy. That dude started over here where this old buddy is laying down, looking up at the stars. One more play. In your mind, is this a win if a player technically gets in position to turn and sort of create the crease, even despite him, even if he's getting walked back just a little bit and a little bit off balance? Is this a win to you in your mind, Butch? Is that a win? I think that's a win to me. Now, once again, he's off balance and he's getting walked back. Maybe he collapses the crease there a hair because of that. But to me, to cross face and get turned, like that's a win, right? I think. Just asked Vach about this one because I don't know if this is a win or not. But he's able to kind of cross face, right? So good athletic base there. Get to that inside shoulder, turn. But then he's getting walked back. So he walls him off and creates the crease, but then the crease collapses a little bit because he ends up getting pushed backwards and off balance. So I don't know if that's a win or not, but still, it's just to show you the technicalities of Terence Steele in the run game, right? He's at the very least in position more often than not. Now this one's close. I'll chalk it up to the peanut gallery, or in this case to Vach, who's far from the peanut gallery. He's going to know much more than I will about everything O-line. But all I'm trying to do is watch, learn, and then creatively convey. So hopefully I've done that here. Last one here on Terence, and we'll move over to Nate. But just classic down block. This is Terence at his best. Okay, Quinnen Williams here, and then just pay attention to the difference. What happens? A tight end, granted, but albeit against a better, more advantageous matchup, right? So these two are pretty comparable as far as, build and strength, right? Same thing for these two. Quinnen's a much stronger player, technically, more powerful guy. But Terence, when he's moving forward, blocking down, being asked to, be that athlete in space in the run game, he thrives. So just watch. When he strikes and locks on to Quinnen versus what happens when Schoon tries to strike and lock on to 94. Just to show you there's levels to this stuff, to run blocking, okay? And to how to appreciate a really good rep even when you may otherwise be fooled or be conditioned to think otherwise, right? Just watch. Okay, both guys locked on. Now Quinnen, to be fair, he does try to redirect just a little bit. But his momentum, man, he goes backwards here. Whereas 94 keeps moving forwards. See that? See, he's 3 yards into the backfield now. Terence ain't letting Quinnen climb. Quinnen, excuse me. Right? He's got him. And he's trying to shed, but he can't. He can't stack and shed. Because Terence just kind of rides him out. Keep in mind, I don't want to say anything bad about Nate Thomas. I'm only doing this to show people that he's not the perfect player that he's being made out to be. He is a rapidly ascending, young, developing prospect that we all should be excited about. But he is in no position right now for anybody to say, bench Tyler Guyton, cut Terence Steele, all these things. Okay, I'm only doing this because of what the current narrative is, to show you guys that he's a human being that is going to mess up, that is imperfect, and especially relative to the other two guys that you are trying to replace in favor of him. Okay, certain things we just talked about. We just watched Terence Steele get across Quinnen Williams' face, similar leverage and alignment, right? The same task, relatively speaking. Okay, but you'll see Quinnen strikes Nate first. That wasn't the case with Terence. You'll see Quinnen doesn't let Nate get across his face. Unlike Terence, Quinnen is able to stack and shed Nate, unlike Terence. Albeit one rep, sure. But I'm just going to show you it's not black and white, right? You don't just say, just because he's the shiny new toy, and just because there's a previous narrative about a player, regardless of who the player is, the grass is not always greener. This dude's going to be a monster. He plays with ridiculous power, but I think he has limitations, moving his feet a little bit. And I think right now, he has a tendency to stop his feet when he gets hands on people. That's going to get better. That's going to come. It's a developmental curve. Okay, but you'll see, Quinnen's able to make this play. You see who strikes first? Watch who strikes first. 71 you can see his pads. Watch Quinnen's hands into his pads. Bop. Okay, so he's kind of got him right where he wants him, and then he ends up making this tackle here because he's a little bit quicker laterally. And Nate is a little less quick laterally than Terence. It's a better matchup, okay? To cross face and keep him walled off, to stay in front in position. Quinnen makes the tackle. I'm just showing you that he's not the infallible player that people are making him out to be on Twitter or in the media or whatever. Okay, you don't just see one good rep and then all of a sudden decide to replace the guy. That's not real life, especially not one who's in year 2, like Tyler Guyton is, after first-round draft capital was invested. Once again here, you'll see lined up against former first-round draft pick Will McDonald. Okay, a little over-aggressive, little over unbalanced, weight over our feet, a little too much. Okay, Will is the freak wide 9 athlete that he is, and just he's able to make a young, once again, rapidly ascending, very exciting, but albeit imperfect player missed. And he ends up making the play for a tackle for loss. Technically no gain, but he gets into the backfield and wins this rep big time here. Dang. Backside. Well done. Nice play from Will McDonald. One more time. Okay. Ducks his head, lunges a little too much. I love the aggressiveness. I love the power. But at times you're going to miss. At times good players are going to make better plays. This guy right here is a good player that made a really nice play. Makes him miss. And then Jadon Blue pays the price. Okay? It's going to happen. And it's okay. I'm just saying, it's not the shiny, new, perfect, infallible toy that everyone is talking about right now. He has problems, yes. Terence Steele has problems, yes. Tyler Guyton has problems, yes. We should just be thankful that the Cowboys have an embarrassment of riches. That's the point. Let's not get greedy. Talk about foolishly talking about cutting Terence Steele in the middle of the season right now. When we're already witnessing what happened, right? Injuries happen. Look at the middle of your offensive line. Replace a rapidly ascending player in his own right and Tyler Guyton for another rapidly ascending player. The logic to me doesn't check out. It doesn't make sense, guys. I'm sorry. And if I'm crazy, if I'm wrong, if you disagree strongly, if you have a take that can disprove anything that I'm saying, please do so. Let me know. We're here to learn together. But all I want is the objective truth to be out. And that objective reality, the objective truth, and on behalf of all 3 of these players, is that they're pretty darn good. In at least one area. Terrence's weakness in pass pro may be the most glaring weakness, but his strength in the run blocking department might be the most. He might offset his pass pro by having, of the 3 players, the best attribute in the run game. I think that's probably a fair angle to take, and I'll consider that moving forward. He might be the worst pass blocker of the 3, but he also might be the best run blocker of the 3. But once again, rapidly ascending. Watch how quickly he slides his feet and then the strike to pair it with. Shuffle, shuffle, pop, boom. One more time. Slide, slide, pop. Strong hands, gets a little bit of help out of the backfield, but perfectly in position. And watch the knee bend the whole time. Knee bend, knee bend, knee bend. That's a 6'8", fluid basketball player, sweet feet athlete. Once again, year 2, first round capital. Missed the most important, the most significant growth stage of any young player's career. Year 2, the offseason, the training camp portion. When the game starts to slow down, there's nothing really new relative to you and the organization. Good rep against Micah Parsons there. And you'll see, staying in front of Micah Parsons, just because you don't stop him in his tracks, just because you don't completely bury him, just because you don't walk him back. You're not walking people back in pass pro anyway. You're the one that's backing up. But we can go back to that play again, and there's other examples. You stay in front of Micah Parsons for a 3 count, and you have the ability to shuffle, 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 slide, 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 and stay in a knee bend while doing it. This is what we're talking about here. Watch the knees. Micah's out of the play at that point. This is called a pocket for a reason, okay? Create the pocket. Blind side. Force Micah behind Dak, okay? He is out of position in this play because Tyler Guyton walls him off. And that's all that you got to do. That's all you're sometimes asked to do. Once again, there was a game plan. If Micah wasn't getting chipped, if whoever he was lined up across from wasn't getting help, then they were playing quick game and Dak was making the right decision. But the growth, to me, it's everywhere. It's night and day. Yes, the penalties are still going to occur. Yes, there's going to be some pressures as a result of a player who's still coming of age. We can't turn the page on a kid like this. Just because we see Nate Thomas have a couple good reps. Listen, I'm just here to tell you right now, we'll have a conversation about Terence Steele too. It ain't black and white the way most people want it to be with Nate Thomas and Terence Steele. There's a misconception around that guy too. And we'll talk about that. But Tyler Guyton, I just love it. Dak at the line of scrimmage is so nasty. Going cadence. That's funny. Here we go. Change the scenery on you. Look at that. Just in a phone booth, just throwing people around, locking people up. NFL sack leader heading into this game, by the way. Takes him a little bit of a reset. He had to kind of reset and shuffle, thrust those hips forward to get the full extension, lock out, but boom, he did it. Right there. He anchored. Took him a second. That's a power player. That's a good edge right there. It's a guy, once again, I think 5 sacks coming into that game in week 4, leading the league, but none in that one. The balance is one of the biggest things that I noticed as a result of rebuilding his body. That can't be lost on us either. The strength in the lower half is something that's noticeable. Once again, if you know what you're looking for, here's another rep against Micah. Let's just watch. Let's see what happens. See, this is all game plan. This is prep. Okay, we're gonna allocate an extra resource to Micah's side. Jake's gonna chip. Gives him a little bit of help. Actually, don't know where Micah went right there. So Micah definitely beat him to the inside. But that was a pinch, right? So TG knew he had some help, and then he just kept fighting through the whistle. Ends up getting hands on Quay Walker. Didn't stop just because Micah got past him, right? He's looking for work. That's just, those are good things. Those are headsy things. Those are pro type things. Another rep against Lucas Van Ness. Tries to beat him with the inside move. TG's ready for it. You just see strong hands. Quick, violent hands, but just stays in position. Watch his legs. Ready position, balls of his feet. A little bit of knee bend, strike. And he even, watch the right hip fire into that inside move. Watch. Dance. Bah! See that right hip clear? Watch the right hip. And he just rides him out. Micah. Dak sees it. Okay. Extra help out of the backfield this time. Switch sides for me, Miles. Allocate resources just in case. Kind of missed the chip there. And this is this is where you get beat. But once again, this is the best in the business, right? So he gets beat here. That's an L. And that's gonna happen. But those L's happen fewer and farther between. And we're damn sure not gonna make any sort of finite decisions because of 1 rep against Micah Parsons here, 2 reps against Micah Parsons here, or 3 reps or 4 reps in general. But just watch. I mean, once again, give it your best shot to walk him back. Teams used to beat him with power last year. They just run right through his chest, right through his face. Excuse me. Good luck to you, Lucas. Look, T. Smith is ready to help. He's ready. But TG didn't need it right here. I got you, brother. Don't worry about it. You just stand there and look pretty. This one's on me. Out of the play. See you, Lucas. But TG has a reputation based on what he used to be. Used to be doesn't equal what you will be. Surely we all understand that. And that's just an interesting little concept there. He's tasked with second level walling. Not a ton to take away from that one right there. More allocation, more resources to Micah Parsons' side. Let's see what you got, TG. So his job is just to use Micah's momentum against him. Okay, this play is clearly going to the right. You see a little bit of assistance there in the interim. Does he have the athleticism to get back to Micah and wall him off? Just enough. That's actually it's kind of an interesting concept there. Interesting responsibility as the left tackle to intentionally let Micah get that first step on you. But TG having the length and the athleticism to slide back, just one big slide and one quick thrust, just using Micah's momentum against him. And it worked out. Another one. Micah Parsons. Gets caught leaning that time. Micah absolutely has his way. It's going to happen. Is that when the concussion occurred? Oh, no. Just a bit of a bruised ego. Micah's so crazy, man. He moves like Avante Turpin, but he's built like freaking Ray Lewis. It don't make sense. I'm not going to gloat over comboing with a first-team All-Pro at left guard right there, but still. I mean, to me, he just looks the part, though, right? Like, do you guys, y'all see that? Surely y'all see some of that, right? Just looks like a more confident player. He's clearly a little bit more dense. A little more protein to him. Less baby fat. Brings me back to that the first project that we like specifically devoted to Tyler Guyton and his growth and us projecting growth based on sports psychology, where he's dripping sweat, got his hoodie on because they literally had to go pull him out of the weight room because he was just that busy getting in there. And we heard Shotty reference that all the time, like, can't get this dude out the gym. Just the him embodying and embracing what it means to be a professional, him realizing, oh, okay, I can't just be a kid that's happy to be here anymore. I actually have to put the work in. I have to clean up my diet. Remember, he switched to mostly like fish and steak and eggs, and it was like whole foods, right? It's a whole food diet now, but lots of fish, he said, a lot of seafood, just packed with protein, fish oils for, just superfoods, right? Just going for along for a ride. Here you go, Lucas. Me and you, we dancing today. We just dancing. That's it. Night out at the ball. Got your pretty green and yellow dress on, but I'm in charge. Okay? I'm alpha today. You're my son. Micah, I'm gonna win a rep or two. He's gonna win 2 or 3. But I'm fighting. I'm here this year. I'm stronger. I'm more confident. And I'm showing big time flash plays. Here we go again. That was a nasty stunt. Watch Micah. Watch how quickly he goes from outside leverage. That's borderline wide 9 right here. One quick jab step and jump all the way. He crosses face. He literally jumps 2 gaps. Boop. And makes Tyler Smith have to make a business decision. Because he's that quick, that explosive. Remember, we think of these players, we think of Tyler Smith just because he has the All-Pro status. This was his worst game of his career, or one of them, where he just is blatantly getting whipped on multiple occasions. And I'm not talking about just Micah Parsons. The first few plays that Devontae Wyatt had against Tyler Smith, he clearly won very quickly and got pressure and put a couple hits on Dak Prescott as a result of it. This is another occasion where he gets beat to his inside. He's not supposed to let that happen. He knows it. But very few people can do that to him. So if we're seeing that happen with Tyler Smith, why are we only blaming Tyler Guyton? Is it just because the stigma against him? Because he didn't pan out as fast as fans foolishly wanted him to. When he was a basketball player less than 5 years ago, when he was playing multiple positions at OU, when he was playing the opposite side of the line of scrimmage the year before him being drafted, protecting Dylan Gabriel's blind side, when he was a full-time tackle just for his second year. He's been a full-time tackle for 2 full years. And he just so happened to have an unfortunate injury prior to the most important development phase of his career. Year 2, after you understand what it's like to be a pro, put a little bit of protein on the body. Trim some of that baby fat. Start to take pride in your work and not just be proud to be there. The little things, right? Micah Parsons is going to whip everybody in this league that he lines up across from. He's going to win. You got to embrace and accept that. Tyler Smith has to embrace and accept that. But he's been an all-pro, so he gets a pass. But he was actually beat more times in this game than Tyler Guyton was. And by not just Micah Parsons. It happens. You have bad games. You have bad days. Tyler Guyton is still going to have bad days, bad plays. But the holding calls, the pressures, the penalties in general are happening much fewer and farther between, and you just watch the athlete on the field. The position, the amount of times he's getting caught off balance, much fewer and farther between. The amount of times he's getting dog walked backwards, much fewer and farther between, because of the natural professional athlete progression.
He's new to this. Maybe Duke's perspective didn't resonate well. Maybe they got off on the wrong foot. And maybe, just maybe, an offensive staff now that features not 1, but 2 offensive masterminds in their own right, Clayton Adams and Connor Riley. A change of scenery can be good for players. Why can't a change of perspective, a different voice, be good for players too?
The line room building over here, and I think that, having these coaches with the 1-2-3 punch is going to help everybody out. And, they're coming with a new intensity. They're coming with a new attitude. And, I see it changing our room already.
Tyler Guyton is operating with a different energy. He's speaking with a different level of focus, conviction, and even eye contact in his interviews. Still early, yes. But the body is changing too. And then on top of that, the cherry on top is that Brian Schottenheimer has gone out of his way to mention Tyler Guyton's development, commitment, his work, living in the weight room, etc. multiple times, not just once, not even just twice. Listen to what he's saying, listen to how he's saying it, and watch him as he's doing it. It's a different level of focus this year.
You were a college right tackle and you played left tackle, switched sides of the line. How much did that kind of impact your season, and how much more comfort do you have at that spot now?
I'm not going to make any excuses. I just didn't play as good as I needed to last year, and I'm coming with a different attitude this year to become a better player.